This is the Maestro by Acid Rain Technologies. It's a performance LFO, and I don't know why it took so long for a performance LFO to come out, but I'm just glad it's here. This is the most performative modulation source, besides, say, a tetrapad or some sort of joystick, that I've come across, and I really like this because it's precise and it's clocked. I like it so much I put it next to my Metron and Volterra. It's right up front with all my clocking and modulation sources because I want to touch it. I want to get my hands on this. I want to change things. I want to do it live. And that's what this was built for. So full disclosure, I work for a synthesizer shop. I gas for hardware all day long. I'm lucky if I make it home with a paycheck. I want to buy everything, and I love modular synthesis. So I am excited in general just because I get excited about this stuff, but I'm extra excited because I know Acid Rain Technologies personally, and I know they love to perform. And that's why they designed this module the way they did. So let's check it out. So at first glance, looking at the Maestro, you immediately notice its beautiful black finish, its cool little Acid Rain emblem there, and it's very clean. It's meant to be understood easily and to be not have any cables in your way, which is why they have all the buttons at the bottom here and not all over the place. It's not like an output here and here and here and here and a button in between it. It's all like you touch this, get in here with your fingers, mess with these, and we'll have all this be at the top and out of your way. And I love that. That's just like how the Metron was made, and unfortunately not how PAM's is made. I wish it was. I wish the screen was down here and those were up there. But I do love PAMs. We all love PAMs, don't we? Yeah, getting into it, the first thing you see on the Maestro is these 8 outputs, which are circled with the white paint there. And it's a clock output, a reset out, and then the 6 channels of the LFOs. Each LFO can have its own time and its own wave shape, and then you can play those LFOs, which is really cool. So if just getting right into it here, I can take this output, plug it into my Zeroscope, and we can see this thing working right off the bat. So you can already see that it's a ramping up, and if I want to change it to a downward ramp, I could press downward here, the downward ramp symbol, and then hit the channel that I want to affect. And you can see that it immediately turned to a downward ramp. Super easy, so simple. Hey, check this out. How about I press the channel and then press what shape I want? It's that easy. They just make it that easy. How about I press 3 channels and have them all be, down up ramps? Maybe I'll change those to also, hold on here, to smooth as well. We'll smooth them out. And now you can see that it's no longer got that sharp point at the top. It's a continuously smooth waveform, which is really good as well and cool and makes for some cool modulation. What I'm super excited about when it comes to this sucker is this chain functionality. It's just really fun. And how it works is you can take one of these channels and then just hit the chain button to enter into chain mode, and then be like, okay, upward ramp, downward ramp, downward, upward ramp, random, on channel 1, chain. Now watch. There's our LFO shape, and it will just cycle like that. And if we want to change how fast that cycles, we can press down the channel and it will illuminate what's happening. You can see it moving through the chain. Here we go to 16th notes, 32nd notes. You can see it gets real wild over there in the Zeroscope, or quarter notes here. What's really cool though is, say we want it to be stepped modulation, which is something I really like because it makes me think of automation in my DAW if I'm, finalizing some work. So check this out. If I take a gate out from my Metron, it will step through the chain that I made based on these gates that I have in the Metron. So if I add a bunch of gates, it'll step through it faster right at the end here. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, I really like that. Change these to like 16 so they go really fast. So this is something you want to pair with, a bunch of attenuators, because, It's an LFO. Remember that. Remember that, kids. Get your attenuators. I have a second rack that this is usually connected to, and I have just a bazillion attenuators and VCAs because I really like really fine control of all of my voltage. Although it is nice to just, plug this in. Something like the Loquelic Iteratus, you could actually just plug this right into it, don't need any attenuators, and it will make cool sounds because it's just a really fun, complex oscillator. So let's make some sounds with it. I want to demonstrate how you can use this as an envelope generator, just because I think it's cool. So I have channel 2 on the Metron going into the input of channel 1, and I have channel 1 set as a downward ramp. Okay, and you'll see it over here in the zero scope. So, and that's going into, let's finish this. Loquelic Iteratus going into carbon, no saturation turned on, no wave folding turned on. That going directly into the performance mixer on channel 1, and I have the output going through the zero scope into channel 1. That's the breakdown. Now let's see it happen. So if I put down some triggers, this envelope is what I get going into the VCA here, or the level input on the WMD. If I want the envelope to be a little different or a little bit longer, I can change the timing here. So that becomes a bigger decay envelope. Big decay envelope. Short little plucks. And then I can also smooth them out. It is smoothed out currently. I could unsmooth it. I like it smoothed for the envelopes personally. You can make them bipolar. That doesn't do anything for them into my mixer, but it's just cool. And you can change it up on the fly, or we can have a use the chain here, and it will trigger through the chain. So we could say chain down, down, up, down, random, and onto channel 1, chain. Kind of cool. We have a sense of rhythm now. Like this is a little bit more alive. So I can also take the clock output from my Metron and run it into the Maestro. So now we're all in sync. It's not the most interesting sounds happening, but what we will do is start utilizing more of these LFOs. So right now we could kind of test out what happens. So if I mess with the morph, it's pretty intense. So let's run it through an attenuator. Put it on unipolar instead of being an attenuverter. And we'll take that output and run it into that. I think it was morph, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, whoops. Supposed to be this one. Okay, so there's the unaffected signal here. And then, so let's do some cool stuff on channel 2. Not smooth. Let's make it bipolar. Let's also make channel 1 be a little bit bigger. Their envelopes be a little wider. And just so that we don't get annoyed by this sound, let's send some pitch information over here. So hold down. It's just interesting, and that's fun. So we have this little thing going, and I'm just going to keep going. Why stop? I mean, who's stopping me? Nobody. Let's get a kick drum going. Oh, snap. let's modulate that, shall we? Okay, yeah, we'll modulate the attack, and oh, that is cool. I like it. I like it very much. So this does some other really cool features. You can actually save all the modulation that you do. So if we want to save the modulation, we press the save button, and then we choose a slot for it. Boom. It's modulation, all 6 channels, saved into slot 1 of 14 slots. But you could also say, hey, just save these 2 channels of modulation in that slot. Okay, cool. So now these 2 channels are saved, and these other ones are free. So when you load up save slot 1, it will only load those 2 channels worth of saved information, and the rest of it will be set at its default setting, which is like kind of almost overthought. I mean, I can't even, I'm at a loss for words. I wouldn't have thought of that designing this module myself to do that. So my hat's off to you, Acid Rain Technology. Okay, so let's continue to have a look at the Maestro. So there's some stuff I haven't talked about yet, right? So I did mention the mute button, so we can mute channels, mute and unmute them using the mute button. But I didn't talk about high or low, and high and low is just a gate high and a gate low, and I can demonstrate that by, I'll turn the clock on here, and you can see the second channel is number 4 here, channel 4 on my Maestro. So I'll say, Maestro, go gate high. Oh, there you go. Now it's just a brick wall voltage. And I say, Maestro, gate low. So we'll just hold the gate at a low position. And then lastly is this square. So it's a square wave LFO. And then you have random. You also have random smooth. So we could say, hold this down and go, okay, also smooth it. And bipolar random smooth. That's something to say, isn't it? Cool. So you have this slow button, and what the slow actually means is it changes this from it being like note lengths to it being a division. So if I put slow on, say 2 here, it's gonna go real slow, which has a nice change. Actually made the music sound a little better, I think. Select all these channels and say, let's save them to slot 1. Okay, so now I can mess with them, right? So now we can go, all of you down ramps, all of you 16ths. Then I can go load 1. We're back to where we just were. It's so cool. Like, it's just so freaking cool. It's like reload pattern of the Digitac, or reload parts on your Octatrack, or reload the kit, or undo. Man, undo in modular, thank you. Bipolar triplets, let's do it. Remember, I'm using channel 1 as an envelope generator. It's controlling my VCA. And that's weird sounding. Change the algorithm here. Okay, let's go back. Yeah. This gives me that vibe of making fun, live dance music for me. I really like making dance music with my modular and my other electronic instruments. But it's tactile, and it feels like you're in control of what's happening. And the build quality is exceptional. So thanks for hanging out with me. I know that when I do modular videos, I ramble on for a while because I get overly excited about modular. I'm a little bit more precise with tutorials in Electron, but I just like, it's Modular is so cool and exciting. And this is just another thing to be super excited about. So check them out if you haven't. Thanks for hanging out.